Okay, my name is Lionel Broche. I work in MRI. So I'm not a designer, I'm not a programmer. I'm actually the guy who designs a device and make it work and tries to actually get the whole things together. I'm working on a new type of MRI device, something that sees new kind of contrast and can be explored for medical applications, and I want to make it open sourced. Now, MRI is not something you can build in your garage. It's some complex kind of equipment, as you can guess. It requires a lot of skills and so on. So making things like this open source is quite a challenge. And what I want to try and then make is something like an open source hardware repository. Something you could install on your computer. You would actually be able to browse projects online. If you find something that is interesting for you, you download the file, you have all the blueprints, all the steps needed to actually make the device, all the skills needed, all the documentation and so on. And then you just follow step by step. So basically, the code is the blueprints and the compiler is yourself, or whatever tools you use to actually make the device. And when the device is built, you have a virtual environment on your computer that actually can track what the device does and so on. So that would actually be quite nice to develop these kind of ideas, but I'm not a designer. I'm not a programmer. So what I would like to have is some help from a designer or programmer to give some inputs about how this could actually look like. Not make it at this stage, but to have some realistic view of how this could look like technically so that I can apply for grant and get actually someone hired to do the job. So if anyone here would be happy to have a discussion, a chat tonight around a beer or whatever, I'm happy to talk. I'll leave my email address on the board, so you can contact me. Thank you.
So I'm still, so you're designing MRI device?
Yes. Yes, it's a new kind of MRI device called field cycling device. So yeah, the magnet, whole body, we have patients coming in there and so on. We have a few prototypes already done. It's working great. We have clinical studies going on. And now I want to open source it, which would be great. I'm not the only one to do that. Actually, there's a whole community doing this called Open Source Imaging Initiative. They are working on open source MRI and ultrasounds and all the devices. They are part of this, but well, again, we're hardware guys, and any help on design and the programming would be great.
Okay. Wow, I just started. So design in terms of the hardware design in terms of the product, or the interface that the MRI technician would be using?
The entire thing. So basically, what we've done in Aberdeen so far has been to assemble pieces that were built by suppliers because it's so difficult to get power gradients and magnet and so on. These guys in Open Source Initiative are actually trying to regroup all their initiatives around open source hardware that are relevant to MRI. They managed to get the whole system, actually, from the magnet to the gradient to the coils to whatever. So all the pieces are there for a bare bone scanner at least. So we need a bit more, but and what we've done in Aberdeen is, well, integrating all that, getting the software to work, getting the images, making the patient studies, validating, doing the research on how we can actually use it, what information it gives that could be useful for clinicians, liaising with the hospital over there. That's what we've done over there, yes. So a bit of, well, yeah, quite a bit.
Okay, that's
so yeah, thank you very much.
really
But yeah, so again, having someone to help with the other parts, so all the technical thing would be great.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you want to help or to be part, that'd be great.
Okay. That's pretty
Thank you.
Okay,
maybe time
thank
for
you
someone
very
else. You're welcome.
Whew. Okay. Crap. That's amazing. Okay. Who would like to go next? Venus? You have some slides.
Yes, I have them. It's in view.
View?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or window, maybe.
I don't remember. I think full screen. Should I put this or? Okay. Okay. So hi, I'm Sofia. I'm from the UVA team, and the rest of the team is there. I want to explain a little bit the problem we are facing in order to understand the project. So we are facing, well, we all are facing, like mankind is facing these two problems, no? Surveillance capitalism and the loss of control of our data. So we wanted to regain this data and this data ownership, and we decided to build a platform to escape from the corporate consumer cloud. So what is Juvia? No, our project. Juvia is a physical device that everyone will have, everyone that they want will have in their house, and you can have there storage, email, contacts, calendar, or any kind of app that you can download from a decentralized marketplace. So we wanted, you can access to the device from anywhere through a secure connection via Tor. And the intention is that everything is open, transparent, auditable, easy to use. So this is the tricky part that connects with the design. In order to have something that is very easy to use by anyone, like our parents or grandparents, we need to make a big effort in design. So we have to develop a design system. We have also to develop the user interface and the user experience. These are part of the work that we are now doing. And we also have to develop the hardware case appearance. So that are the three fields in design that we are working on and that we need help and your collaboration if you want. We have received funding from the Next Generation Internet Initiative. That is an initiative from the European Commission. We are open to short-term or long-term collaborations, so anything that we are open to talk. In fact, I'm curious if anyone has worked with like industrial design or anything like that. No? Okay. And hi. So if you want, we can talk about it. And I think that's all. Thank you. And we have stickers. So thank you so much.
So is there software already created? Is there a version people can
Yes,
try
we have.
and use?
You cannot try and use it yet. The software is mostly done. It's not finished. There's things on the design aspect and there's also things on the implementation that are tiny software. But we are finishing the distribution mechanisms for apps. So now you can install and uninstall apps, but you can really download them from anywhere because that's not implemented yet. And you can also have email calendar and that, but that's not yet containerized. So that we are thinking. So we have just integrate things. That's the easy part of the software. Mostly we hope to be ready to test with people in the future.
We are developing something in order to test with users. In order to
This is
receive.
the first part, because usually we are service designer, and before to start the project. The first part of the project
Mhm.
excavation on the earth is like ideation. So
Mhm.
understanding the problem, see how people see the problem, and understand with them the best way to solve the problem. And this after came the ideation part, so the prototyping part,
Mhm.
and the testing part, and the implementing
Yes,
part.
we have talked with several people and also with small organizations like NGOs and just people. But we have we want to test with them the prototyping that we have. So we are like in the second stage, not at the beginning. But yes,
Did you ever try to testing the wireframe of the application, like
Not-
by paper or
not
something?
yet.
We didn't have any experience with doing that ourselves, so
We are like yes,
I'd love to ask you how to do that. We can.
okay.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Ali, please speak it.
Yeah, you can. Anybody else? Yeah. So I do, this one can go. Okay.
after him.
Okay.
None of it. I came last, so
Yeah, I can wait.
I'm still strapping my thoughts.
In the back.
Yeah.
That's Philip, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Hey. Nice to finally
Yeah.
see you in person.
I've been trying to get to this dev room all day. I don't have slides, but is there a web browser I could use?
There, yeah, absolutely. Yep. There you go. There you go.
Okay. So,
So while Philip is getting his things together, don't forget if you're going to the picture project, you can post the job on the website as well, just to sort of concise what it does, what you're looking for, and then contact details. We might have some questions over and back with you, but that's basic idea.
And it's been in the room.
That's okay, no problem.
Thank you.
No problem. So,
yeah. So my name is Philip Durbin. I come from Harvard University, and I just gave a lightning talk about our project at 2 o'clock, so you should be able to find the recording there. But I thought I'd at least mention here, I would tell a quick story about Dataverse that I told at the open source design table, which is that we did a big rewrite of our software about 5 years ago or so, and it came about because we had a usability study done on the previous generation of our software. So it was called DVN3. We basically had some students from Simmons College in Boston come and look at the software and give us a report. And it came back negative. Like, your software is unusable, unfortunately. Which led directly to us saying, okay, well, we need to, it was like a come to Jesus moment. Like, we need to really decide what are we going to do. And so we did a big rewrite with we hired a usability person and really focused on usability for the current generation of the software. And now what we're seeing is, I mean, this is not a direct line, right? But if we look at our installations, we now have 52 installations around the world, 6 continents. And I'm not trying to say it's because exactly of the usability study, but I really think that the emphasis on usability has helped a ton. I guess I'm just trying to spread the word that encourage projects to bring in usability people to study the current state of affairs and see if you can get some traction that way. How much time do I have? Should I wrap up?
Another minute and a half to
If I have 1 minute.
Oh, even less. Oh,
I,
great.
I have a totally unrelated project. I'm a dad. I have a 13-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old daughter. And I thought I'd show one other quick open source project that another dad and I have been hacking on.
Are you looking for input in some way?
Well, I don't know. We could use a logo. Right now, the 10-year-old is doing the artwork using an open source tool called Piskel. So she made this little bee, and she's doing other stuff. But I just thought I'd just sort of spread the word about this idea anyway. And the idea is that if you have a 13-year-old like me, like these kids are all on their phones, they're not, we would like to get them more engaged in the community. And they're trying to raise money for their class trip and to go see the Boston Red Sox baseball team go play baseball, and they want to go on a cruise in the harbor as part of the school fundraising effort. And so we thought, well, what if we put these kids to work? What if they put down the phone and they could shovel snow, because we've got a lot of snow in Boston, or they could walk dogs, or do cat sitting, that kind of thing. So a friend of mine and I built this thing, mostly him, called Helper Bees. And the idea is that if you're a member of our community, it's kind of a hyper-local thing. And you're like, oh, I need a dog walker. You click on dog walking. And then the idea is that the parent or the neighbor is donating $10 and getting 2 dog walks from these 13-year-olds. So it's just a way to like give the kids opportunities to like do a little something and then connect people. So it's worked out pretty well for my daughter, where it's sort of introducing her to the world of work a little bit, where she was hired to be a party helper, and she was like, oh, what do I wear? So it's kind of just get her thinking about that thing. So this is all on GitHub also, this Helper Bees thing. I just thought I'd spread the word. So, thank you.
Okay. So, next. Super. Have you got?
I want to fill the script with the full thing.
You put some stuff down on a page. Okay.
Do you have
anything?
presentation? No, I explained the brief.
Yep. A repo or anything?
No.
Okay.
So I haven't come prepared here to present the project and the idea, but hearing about this pitch talk, let's give it a try. Okay, so what do I have in mind is a bit more challenging to the system. I don't know if can you raise a hand if you're familiar with cryptocurrencies? Okay, this is a good crowd. Okay, now the problem in cryptocurrency is mostly the entry and exit from fiat to cryptocurrencies, and usually this is solved for now by exchanges, by third-party exchanges which operate and facilitate you in your interaction and your bid execution on their platform. The problem is that those third parties are allowed to censor you, they reserve the right to disallow you to execute transaction and even seize funds. Now my solution to this is to design and conceive unbanked cryptocurrency ATM. This is a bit challenging because the current existing ATMs, you have the ATM which is calling an API to an exchange, executing the trade according to what was the customer doing. But here you have the risk that you as an operator, you have to take the cash from the machine, go to the bank, deposit the cash, then wire the money to exchange. Here there are 2 third parties which could seize your money. First is the bank, who can simply close your account and say we don't accept your funds. Secondly, there's the exchange which could ask, okay, how did you get the funds, and all the AML and KYC procedures, which is inconvenient for people who want just to use the technology. So there's like a bottleneck to access this technology due to still relying on the third parties. So my idea is to build a not decentralized, that's I think misusing the word, unbanked cryptocurrency ATM, where the price would be determined locally by a local offer and demand, and people would speculate on the local transaction, on the local demand. So the filling and the emptying of the ATM wouldn't be the responsibility of the operator. The operator would have to maintain only technically, like repair parts, replace touchscreen or something like that. Now this is a very broad overview of the idea. Now, in order to launch such a project, I still have a lot of questions which I don't have to ask. This is a for-profit oriented project, so I'm not willing to invest funds to pay people to work, to employ people, but I'm more willing to find a model to reward the early contributors and the early participants in the project. And there are lots of things to settle. A lot of areas of expertise are intersected in this project. For example, I would mean first the governance structures, like the reward, the contribution, and the whole model of the project. Then there is building the entire project, which is what computer, what operating system, designing the case, designing the user interface. There's a big load of work. I have already some people involved from the community, which more particularly the Monero one, who are interested and contribute with ideas to this project, but due to personal situation, I'm kind of stuck. So if you're interested maybe to participate in something like this, well, I'll drop my contact details here. Any questions, thoughts?
What's the economic incentive for the operator of the ATM to do that and not connect to an exchange and submit the rate?
Well, usually the more if cost effective would be to use a bank and an exchange. But when you're censored by those institutions, cost is not really a reason. Besides this, you as an operator, you have multiple. The way I view the terminal would be able to have three sources of monetization. First, maybe internet access. This can be promoted as an internet terminal. People just browse the internet and pay either with crypto, either with fiat. It can be used as an ad platform, like companies present ads on the terminal, so people who are visiting, passing by, or they pay for free access to their website on the terminal. And the third is practically the cryptocurrency exchange, where the operator would get a fee from each transaction, from each exchange. And yes, now it's supposed to, conceive a model to split the revenue between developers and contributors and people who are working to the project and operators.
Question: which country do you wish?
Worldwide. It's an open source project, which the idea is anyone can build a computer, touchscreen, and the bill acceptor, and they build their own machine. That's my idea. So I don't want to target a particular country.
I don't have a problem with the rules.
What rules?
Is it legal to use?
Is it illegal? You're starting on the premises that something must be specifically legal in order to do it. So where's the why?
Okay, so I'm going to, if you want to continue,
No.
very interesting discussion, which I don't know anything
I
about.
just wondered if you thought about it.
I'm going to, thank you. Do you know where the is? If you want to continue, that's wonderful. But I'm going to move on to the next project, just because we're
Running out of time. No, you're running out of the camera. The camera's recording there and just in here.
Yes, the gentlemen prefer to stand off camera. That's totally fine. Microphone is up here. Okay.
Where's the?
Okay.
Stick it in your pocket. Excellent. This one is a bit.
Cool.
Okay.
Hey, hello. So I'm Tom. I work on Etosync. It's essentially end-to-end encrypt and sync your contacts, calendars, and tasks. I know it's a mouthful. Think something like iCloud or Nextcloud or Gmail account, or Google account, sorry, but encrypted in a way that the service provider, for example, Apple, cannot access your data. So, for example, WhatsApp has end-to-end encryption, so it encrypts your data in that way, if not clear. So how does it work at the moment? So it's been around for 3 years now. It's an old project, or young-ish. You just, on Android, for example, you just install the app, and then you just start using it as if it's a normal Google account. So you continue using the calendar app that you love and the contacts app that you love, and all of that just remains the same. So that sounds as if there's not a lot of UI. And you'd be right that on Android there isn't a lot. But the UX and UI issue here is the onboarding, because I had to explain it to you in 20 seconds or however long, and I think a lot of users bounce at that stage. And I know from feedback that a lot of users install it, open the app, and they're like, wait, I can't add calendars. Yeah, you can't, calendar events. And the reason is, of course, because you should use your normal calendaring app. But I think the onboarding, I'm missing something in the way of nudging. So I thought, for example, about adding a button that lets you add an event, but then when you click it, it actually says, no, you should use your normal app. That would be a solution. But I think the problem is that all of the onboarding flow is not really I don't know, pushing people the right way, at least on Android. We have a web client where we actually control the UI, and it's really ugly. But I think that's less of a concern. I mean, I want to fix that, but it's less of a concern as much as the onboarding, which is really poor across all platforms. So this is something I would love to get help. Yeah, and also we're funded by, supported, not really funded, by NGI Zero, NLNet. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They just had a meetup, so we partly supported by them. Yeah, so
Okay.
cool.
So it's a transport for end-to-end encrypted contacts. You have a contact or a calendar event on your phone. It goes to wherever it's going to go to, but it's encrypted there.
So yes, but in addition to that, it's not just a transport, it also just stores it. So think exactly like iCloud.
Yeah.
So if you lose your phone, you can just install it again, and everything you can download back as long as you have the encryption password. That's, by the way, another thing. If you lose your encryption password, you cannot access your data. And that's another thing when we kind of like need, in part of the onboarding, or maybe a bit later, I don't know, like 5 days in, to kind of have a way to make sure that they know it and they have a backup of something. I don't know, it's a lot of challenges, essentially, of bringing encryption to like wide adoption. Yeah.
I have some idea there, since I see that happening also with all the bitcoins and all these things, with apps on your phone that initially requires you to re-enter these private keys or numbers, or maybe only the phrase of that, or the start or the finish.
So they force you to copy it, so you have to.
Copy basically, so that is not the whole deal is there, of course, not done, but it's more like writing it down.
Yeah, I meant copy as in.
Right, yeah, and then you need to re-enter it basically.
Yeah.
Or you need to know all the numbers out of your head. And
Yeah.
often you then forced to write it down somewhere, right?
That's actually a really smart idea. It's but that's exactly the kind of help I need. So those kind of ideas and that kind of like workflow that solves those issues, and I'm gonna do that. I think, like it really, it's really smart, and that's actually the amount of users that reach out to me like, hey, I know you can't help me recover the data because I lost the thing, but can you help me reset the account? Yeah, and it's like so.
So, and the information is stored on Edisync.
So everything is open source. You can self-host if you want, but we also offer a hosted solution for $2 US a month. So it's not a lot for the West, I think. And we also, by the way, do fair pricing. So if you're like in India or other low-income country, we slash the price 50% or whatever.
Okay.
So.
Do you have many users currently, or?
So
roughly?
because it's open source, I mean, the paid one we have in the thousands. Open source, you look at the downloads or like of the Docker image and all of that. It can be anything between 0 and 20,000 more. I have no idea, but I mean, just guess completely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And also it's packaged by distros, so I don't know how many downloads there are there. Like, it's really difficult to estimate.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any particular place that people can go to, I don't know,
Yeah.
forum.com?
That's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah, so just etosync.com. But that's more, so at the moment the company, like the hosting, is kind of indistinguishable from the open source project. I mean, it's the same website. Okay, the internet is not working. Yeah, I mean, whatever, I've had it all day, like internet is really bad. Yeah.
Okay.
So etosync.com, etosync like this. Yeah, and .com. Yeah, and I have stickers as well, actually. I have more, I should put more. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we have an IRC channel. You can connect through Matrix. We don't have a mailing list, but what else we have? We have a few other things. No, and also, by the way, it's not that like I think it's a good idea to do those things. I've done some of them, and I see the ramp up. Like so many more users stay. Or for example, I added one of those intercom-like, but ours is open source based on XMPP, blah, 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 blah. But then, the moment you add that, people actually ask you questions and they retain more. So it's all of those small things that you think like, it's not gonna matter, I need to code more. And then you do that and like, oh my God, spike. So I really know the value of it. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not gonna be one of those kind of like, oh, leave me alone kind of communities. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super. That
Cool.
was really interesting. And
No, cool. And use it. Yeah, use it, by the way, even if you're not interested in helping. Yeah.
great. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Down the back. Super. So, did you hear the sort of initial?
Yes, I was. Yeah. I want to make sure. Hi, I'm Istvan, and I'm actually pitching for a friend who couldn't make it here. He's roaming around, stuck in another talk. The main thing is so what he created is a library for collaborative editing, so for Google Docs like thing, and it's really stable now, and it's used by a lot of users. And I myself, I'm a heavy user. But what it's completely missing is awareness. So making people aware that other people are using it. So it scales to dozens of users, but it's really hard to follow what is happening. For example, there is an example here. So you can type text. Well, here. What we need is some kind of a design system for awareness that goes beyond those basic ideas that Google Docs has, for example, the colorful animals on the top or the cursors, because it supports a lot of data types and things, for example, drawing. And already here, the usual awareness thing. So awareness is that you see that what others are doing and not working here. And we really need ideas how we can, get the information to the user that something happened here made by another user. So that would be awesome if, we could get some help on that. There is information on yjs.dev. And there's a Gitter, there's a discuss, and GitHub issues with contacts.
So, just to get a realistic idea, if I wanted to join that and collaborate with you, how would I do that?
Just go on the website, yjs.dev,
Yeah.
and then scroll down. It works on mobile. And then click the drawing tab and start drawing. And then you see somebody's drawing, but you don't see who is drawing. Are you drawing right now?
Yeah. I don't know where I'm drawing, what I'm drawing.
Are you on the same Wi-Fi now than this laptop?
No.
Yeah, but the text should work. Oh no. Yeah. Yeah, it's so. You saw that? So this magically appeared, but we don't know who did it.
Okay. So you want some sort of, let's say...
Yeah, some ideas, some design system that everybody can just use. And yeah. So we're ready to implement it, but we need ideas. Yeah?
So you can
Idea machine.
so you can introduce legends, left down or something with colors, and then change the colors according to that. Also with the text, you can use the same colors, name the text to the left corner with the label, like a legend.
Okay. Oh, so a lot of people joined that. Sorry.
Basically, you generate automatically a new color depending on when a new user joins.
Yeah.
It could be any color.
Yes, you can draw with different colors yourself.
But is that wanted? Is that needed?
Excuse me?
Is it needed? In the sense that
Well, this is just a demo, so you can.
the project either,
Yeah, but even if a lot of people are working on Google, so if we're collaborating and even 10 people are working on it at the same time, it's really hard to. You need to look at the document to see who has changed what.
Layers, like on GIMP, you have a tab, and each tab has different.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, it's all in JavaScript. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So how do we get in contact with you?
Basically on yjs.dev, it's you can't see it here, right? So yjs.dev, DEV.
And there's a discuss link.
GitHub,
repo link.
very active. GitHub,
Okay.
EM.
Okay. Thank you very
Cool.
much.
Thank you.
So, just to remind everybody, please don't forget to post the job to opensourcedesign.net/jobs, because that's where it'll move outside of this 20-odd people to more people. Okay. Anybody else before we? Yep. We've got. We're a little bit over, but do we have anybody else who's interested? Maybe one more. If not, that's quite okay. One more quick one. Okay. Really quick.